Welcome to another Reddit relationship advice video. If you enjoy the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Now, let's get into today's Reddit relationship advice video. This Reddit story is called, I Caught My Wife Giving Some Guy Oral Pleasure in an Abandoned Parking Lot. Hello, everyone. Today was the worst day of my married life. It was absolutely crazy. I caught my wife of 9 years sucking on some guy in an abandoned parking lot. This is how I caught them. Well, the day started like any of my other work days. As I'm driving to work, I am listening to the radio and transportation or public works for the city is announcing certain road closures and what time they will be closed. So, I have to plan my route back home. When I get off, I make a phone call to my wife and ask her, is she aware of the road closures? And she said she had heard they were closing certain roads, and she also had to plan a different route to get home. She then said she would take a few back roads that she knew of and should be home around the same time I got home. I said, okay. Told her I loved her and got off the phone. As my work day draws to a close, I'm monitoring the road closures throughout the day to make sure nothing has changed too drastically. My work day ends and I proceed to drive home like always, but based on the detours and road closure information, I decided to take a different route home. I have to. I take a different exit than I normally take and drive by a few abandoned buildings in the city. As I am driving down the road, I shockingly notice a car that looks like my wife's car. So, I wanted to get a closer look to be sure. I make a U-turn and drive into the parking lot slowly. Lo and behold, it is her car. I recognize the license plate. Suddenly, I see two people raised up in the back seat. I saw a silhouette of them. I wasn't close enough yet. So, I stay in my car until I see them disappear again. As they disappear, I slowly get out of my car and make sure I don't close the door. I leave it cracked. I walk up to her car. What I saw next made my heart drop and I am angry at the same time. She is going down on some guy in the back seat. I tapped the window and said, what the hell? They both jump out of their skin. My wife's mouth is wide open. The guy quickly starts to put his clothes on and exits on the opposite side of the car. My wife is still in shock that I caught her cheating. She starts crying immediately and apologizes and apologizes. I told her she just killed our 9-year marriage. She begs and pleads. I told her you want me to take you back after having another guy's junk in your mouth. I told her you must be out of your damn mind. I asked her, how could you do this to us? As she begins to speak, a police cruiser pulls up, gets out of his car, and asks if everything is okay. I told the officer, she is my wife and we're having a disagreement. Surprisingly, he says, okay, and gets back into his vehicle and drives off. At that point, I told her I am done talking to her, and I walked back to my car and drive home. I get home and she pulls up right behind me. She goes on to tell me she has felt neglected mentally and not feeling attracted to me in the last year. I interrupted her and said, okay, but I didn't go outside the relationship to cheat. I then tell her she didn't even communicate these issues. Instead, she finds someone else and cheats on me. I told her, I don't think we can recover from this. You broke my heart, and I don't think our marriage will survive. I told her, I have no desire right now to reconcile. Absolutely not. After what I saw, I said, there is nothing you can say or do. I caught you cheating. She then looks at me and says, what are we going to do? I said, I'm going to go stay with my parents for a while until I can think this through. She starts pleading again. I told her to stop. I then tell her, you probably need to start making other living arrangements. After that, I walked away and start packing some things. So, I can get out of the house and go to my parents. She walks behind me and puts her hand on my shoulder, and I push her hand away. I say to her, don't touch me. I walk out of the door and get in my car and drive away. I don't know when I will be back to make another post, but rest assured, I will. This Reddit story is called, Found Out My Wife of 15 Years Has Been Cheating. I need help. I do not know what to do. Found out from a phone call from the wife of the co-cheater, both strangers to me. I am devastated. I confronted my wife about it right away. When bad things happen, she is who I confide in. But, I need someone else to talk to about this, and I don't feel like I have anyone to talk to. I do not feel like I can talk to friends or family about this. At this point anyways, they have all known us for a long time, and we're close to respective spouses as friends as well. I don't know if I'm protecting my wife or myself, but I can't talk to friends or family about this for now. My wife and I have been together since we were teenagers. Married 15 years. We have 2 children. I have been in a bad spot at work for a while now. I don't like my job and I want to switch careers. But I'm paid very well and was eligible for a large payout in a few more weeks, which I've had as a goal for the past year. My wife took on a different position at work 2 years ago that was a significant change in number of hours per week. I didn't want her to take that on since kids. Life already felt strained, but it was important to her. So, I've worked hard to try and support this. But I have been struggling through these last 2 years to cope with work and life. The last 4 to 5 months have been particularly difficult. I have felt exhausted, worn out, unmotivated. I have mentioned this multiple times, but we always said I'd stick through it to the payout and then make the switch to the career I want. A couple of weeks ago, she was looking upset, and when I asked what was wrong, she said she felt disconnected from me and basically did not love me and was not sure if she should be here anymore. This was absolutely devastating for me to hear, and it scared me a lot. And this is the first she mentioned anything like this, and only said it because I was prompting to ask what was wrong. I have been struggling to cope with things in general, but I've been working hard the last couple of weeks to try and reconnect with her. But looks like it was already too late at that point. Found out she has had this relationship for past 3 to 4 months. My wife says they physically met up twice in January on her days off. They supposedly broke it off last week, which my wife says was mutual. But I think that's when they got caught by his wife. From text messages she found. My wife is extremely remorseful. She says she loves me. I do not know what to do. I do not know what to think. How do people recover from something like this? How do you rebuild trust? How does someone do something like this to someone they love? Why wouldn't she talk to her friends? Or to me if things were this bad in our relationship? Did I deserve this? Was I neglectful of her? The thoughts of them physically together is killing me. So, I've been trying to keep away from dwelling there. I am worried about my kids if things don't work out. They do not know anything, and I have been trying to act normal around them today. I am scared thinking about not having her. I have never felt so hurt before. She means everything to me. I have been working so hard doing what I thought was best for my family, and now, none of it matters. Feels like it was all for nothing. None of this feels real. I'm stuck in a bad dream, and I can't wake up. It feels so surreal writing all this. At this point, all I've said is, we have to go to marriage counseling. But I can't really answer whether we should work it out or not. I never thought this would happen to us. I would never do this to her. Co-cheater's wife said she would be willing to chat with me if I wanted to do so. I might take her up on that offer. But it's so hard putting one foot in front of the other right now. And knowing what to do, I feel completely immobilized. This comment was made by Beck01221. She was planning to leave you, which is why she admitted that she no longer felt loved by you. So, she could leave you, and you not know she had ever cheated. The problem is that the wife caught them, and he wants to work on the relationship. And the wife realized she would be left with no one. If she had a problem, she should have talked to you. If she never communicated that she had a problem, then it's on her alone. You cannot read her mind, and understand she needs more if she does not communicate with you. Very few cheaters will ever stop cheating. The fact that she only stopped after getting caught means she will probably find someone else and continue cheating with them, especially if she continues to lie about what happened. Only physical twice lol. It's up to you whether you want to work through this or not. But your kids will be smarter than you give them credit, and will pick up that something is wrong. If you want to stay with her, then you have to fully accept and trust her. Otherwise, your kids will see you are both unhappy, and they may go on to have unhappy relationships with people who cheat. I don't know why, but maybe they grow up thinking it's normal. You need to make a decision what you are going to do. I think you should go to a lawyer and fully discuss what would happen, so you are aware of all your options and the financial impact the decision will have. Your wife cheated on you. Have time to heal, and don't make any big decisions, especially since you don't seem to be 100% confident on leaving her, even though I think you should be. Discuss with your lawyer and think through your own emotions, and maybe get therapy. Just focus on yourself for a while. Hey guys, I'm sorry if this will be a long read, but I want to be honest and get some advice, or even vent. My girlfriend and I have been together for 5 years. Never expected this to happen. I will be the first to admit that looking back, that I haven't been the best boyfriend recently. I stopped being attractive, became antisocial, and just wasn't who I was. We barely go out, barely hang with friends. And looking at it, we were basically roommates who sometimes had sex. The romance was dead. And I blame myself. And I only see it now that this happened. She did voice her opinions. We talked and tried to make things work. But, between me being depressed, working and her working a 12-hour job, we really never changed. Both her and I. Things haven't been the best. Things were rocky a lot of times. No spark like in the beginning. But, we always made up and apologized. I noticed her behavior change. We started arguing more. She hit me for the first time, shoved me, and basically, we grew apart and made up. This mini cycle continued. And looking back, we were in a rut. I was still working at home, being depressed, and generally not being a good boyfriend. Just wanting to stay in bed and watch movies. I wasn't doing anything to create excitement and romance. She would go out with my sister and her friends sometimes, and sometimes invited me. I usually always declined. Writing this now, I see how bad I messed up, to be honest. I was basically comfortable and made no effort. I barely tried. But, in my mind, we were comfortable, and I did not realize how much I actually neglected her emotionally. I was content waking up next to her and having sex and having fun at home, to be honest. Anyways, she started selling food at home to start a business and was meeting new people. One day, I noticed we had an argument, and she started sleeping with her phone under her head for a few days. Things had gotten rocky at that point. I got angry and woke up multiple nights to go through it. But I stopped. She then went out 2 nights in a row, and we barely talked. She went with her sister. Nothing happened. I know this for a fact, and it was just them. When she came back, I took her for a drive and talked about the relationship and the ups and downs. And she basically admitted that she was texting to someone else. She told me the truth. My heart dropped. We went home and decided to break up, and she began packing. She cried all night and basically could not sleep. I felt horrible, and so did she. We talked about what caused it. Her saying lack of attention, sex, being boring, and her just being emotionally drained in the relationship, and that she was deeply sorry for what she did. She showed me her phone, but had already deleted most messages, but gave me access without fighting or stopping me. She was very honest and was remorseful. We do want to work it out, but honestly, I don't know if I can trust her. I am on the fence. I also realize how I also messed up and wasn't being the man she needed, and I am willing to change. I do believe her when she said nothing happened between them and that she stopped talking to him before we had the talk because she realized it wasn't worth it. I asked her if she was unhappy. Why didn't she just leave? She couldn't answer. I'm just torn if we were to get into another rough patch, and she does it again. Any advice? We are willing to make it work. I know I was wrong, but I just feel hurt that she would do that instead of breaking up, as I was unhappy also, but didn't entertain anyone else. I do believe we can make it work for good this time, and I am willing to change. It just hurts knowing that she had feelings for someone else. TLDR. My girlfriend of 5 years have a rocky relationship recently. We both became boring and static. She admitted she found interest in another guy she met, selling food, and was texting him on and off, but she broke it off. I am heartbroken, but I was also neglecting her emotionally, and I wasn't the best in my relationship. We both want to make it work, but I can't get over that she had feelings for someone else and hid it for so long. We want to fix it. Is it possible?